Welcome to Stop Motion Magazine's podcast number 8. In this podcast, you're going to hear an interview with Harry Chaskin. He is an awesome director and animator and all-around good guy. Harry and I first started working together, I believe it was Frankenhole, but before that, we actually knew each other because he entered into Stop Motion Magazine Film Festival, and he won an award for his film Bygone Behemoth, which we talk about. He also became like the animation consultant on Starburns Industries' Anomalisa. We talk a little bit about some stuff in that, but for the most part, we try to avoid that conversation because we signed NDAs and the program is still being produced. So, with that, let's give our thanks to our sponsors. Ditto Gear, where you can find the Omni Slider and the animation kits. That's at dittogear.com. You can also check out Stop Motion Pro, the makers of Lip Sync Pro, and Stop Motion Eclipse software for your stop motion animation frame grabber needs. And also by The Engineer Guy, the source of your smooth-on silicone and molding and casting materials. You can find them at engineerguy.com. And with that, let's start the podcast. Hello, Stop Motion Magazine listeners, and welcome to the podcast. Today I have director, producer, animator, animation director, Harry Chaskin. What's up?
Hey. How's it going?
It's good, it's good. So for those that are who don't know Harry's work, Harry actually, I think the first time I saw you was Bygone Behemoth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you entered that into the Stop Motion Magazine Film Festival, and you won. And it was a brilliant piece. It kind of was hot on the internet back in the day. Was that 2009, 2010?
It was either 09 or 010. I think I finished it in 09, and then it started to do the festival rounds and such in 2010.
Okay, yeah.
Hard to believe it's 5 years ago, actually. I know that because I don't know if I should say this, but I got locked into a shitty distribution deal that locked it into some website exclusively for 5 years, and this December I can finally put it out online for free, and I hope that people could actually maybe see it.
I'm sorry you got locked into that. I mean, you want to talk about that a little bit so people understand what not to do in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I won't name the company that did it, but Bygone Behemoth, context for anyone who doesn't know about it, which is probably most people because it's just a little stop-motion short film. It was my thesis film in college. Spent the better part of my senior year on it, putting it together, building everything by hand, stop motion, animating it, locking myself in a dark room. Finished it up. Was lucky enough to get it into some festivals and get it out there for people to see, and that was a lot of fun, and that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. And then a company hit me up about distributing it, and me being naive young college student, right off the boat, kind of looked at the contract, kind of didn't show it to anybody who really understands all the legalese and all that mumbo jumbo. And I signed it, and then realized shortly down the line that the deal wasn't really in my favor. It was pretty exclusive. I could show it in other festivals, but I couldn't put it online. So that's where that movie's been for 5 years. But come this December, be able to show it to more people.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I haven't heard anything about it, and it was brilliantly filmed.
Oh,
I have a copy of it.
That's kind of you to say.
Yeah, I remember the detail and level of it. I actually interviewed you right after you made it and released it.
I remember
went to your house, and I'll probably put that video up soon because I just found all the footage.
Oh, wow! So I can look at the video and just see how much I've aged since then.
You haven't aged that much, honestly.
I don't know. I think it's going to be like when you see a president at the beginning of their term, and then you see them 4 years later, and they're just all haggard and
you had more
gray.
hair then.
I did, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great little piece because you did so much detail into it, and you did it in your bedroom, right?
Thank you. I built everything
in the bedroom. Where'd you shoot it at?
Shot it in a space at Cal Arts called the Butler Building, which is just a bunch of little stages in there. I wanted to do a lot of camera movement on it, and at the time that was pre-Ditto Gear, any of these great
motion control sliders.
Motion control sliders, something prosumer that you can get.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was doing it on this gigantic ancient Cooper system that had been donated to the school by God knows who, but it was this antique thing that they had actually used to photograph all the models in the original Star Trek show.
Oh, wow.
So we're talking
old school.
Old school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Original Star Trek show or the Next Generation? Probably.
I'd have to.
Cooper's can't be.
No, Cooper was not
not
William
in the 60s.
Shatner 60s.
No. This has got to be like
this was probably
Next Generation.
Yeah, it was probably 80s.
Yeah.
So not technically antique, but pretty damn old.
Tony Dublin probably used that machine.
Oh,
at one point or another.
I'm sure he did. Yeah, it ran on DOS. Well, that should date it then.
Yeah,
80s,
definitely.
Early 80s.
Yeah, early 80s.
So yeah, I was shooting it in the biggest room at this Butler building in Cal Arts because it had this giant creaky Cooper system that elder son actually taught me how to use.
Nice.
And I remember calling him frantically one night because the registration on the machine was all screwed up and squirrely, and I nearly plowed the camera through my set. So Elder was nice enough to drive in and help me recalibrate the thing. But,
it's interesting how things have become a little easier to operate nowadays.
Definitely. I mean, just in the last few years, watching the evolution of camera systems, this was pre-Dragon, live view. I had a DSLR that I was shooting it with, and the means of seeing what I was doing was lunchbox and a little spy camera that was haphazardly mounted with a bracket to the DSLR's viewfinder.
Right, I have a lunchbox sitting back here, actually. So, that thing's sitting right there.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I miss the sound and the tactile feel of the lunchbox. I will say.
Yeah, it's a nice little toy to play with. I wish you could trigger it. Trigger the camera with it, but you can't trigger the camera with it. You have to use a separate switch.
Yeah, I know, and that used to get me into trouble my first few.
Because you take a bunch of shots, and you're like, I didn't take any shots on the camera. Oops.
Exactly. It was fine on my student film, but the first few professional jobs I worked where the clock is running and time is money, I realized I missed a frame here or a frame there. Like, oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
Makes you...
it makes it insane. Well, the funny thing is, it wouldn't be hard to actually create a little trigger. So you put the button, you hit the record button on the lunchbox. You just have to have the right output that would go to the signal that would go to the camera itself and trigger it.
Well, you're good at stuff like that, John.
I'll have to tear that thing apart.
Figure that out. I feel like it'd be a very small market of people that would want that, though.
Maybe
You'd
5 to 10 people.
A couple of craggy guys like us that just miss the percussive feel of the buttons.
Was it only saved like 30 frames or something?
Something like that.
Something crazy. But it's a brilliant little device. I like their lunchbox. What I really like though is the frame steppers now. The frame grabbers now, because they're so cool. You can record your stuff and you go in there and edit your frame out. Just delete it.
Yeah. Except what I love and hate about Dragon is the little sound effect that it makes when you delete a frame.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I know all of us will just kind of mute the computer if we're working on something, so you don't hear a cacophony of bloop 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 bloop.
Right, exactly.
So people are cutting back.
When you sit there and you wonder, like, did I take a shot because the sound's off or something? You gotta like customize your own sounds too if you're gonna do that in a large room with a bunch of people.
Yeah, definitely.
I want one that just makes a TARDIS sound when you hit record.
That'd be cool.
It gets Canine, the dog. Okay, master. Yeah. So last time I saw you, you came over to my studio that was over on Washington. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I had a little space over there, and
you were working on the Aquabats
thing. Yeah. And I closed that down for now because I've been working outside of that, outside of my own company, to be able to work on other people's productions. Sure. And I saw you showing the motion control slider and all that stuff. And then you were animation director, right, at Starburns at the time.
At the time, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
let's say animation consultant.
Okay, animation consultant, sure. Dan Driscoll's the animation director, I guess.
Right. Yeah. He stepped in and took over for me on that show.
So the guy that wrote the script for Anomalisa, the creator of that, and did the other adaptation and all those other ones,
Charlie Kaufman.
Charlie Kaufman. So he shows up one day, and I didn't. It was my first day back. I mean, first day on the job, because I was technical supervisor until I had a little run in with somebody, and we won't go into that. But but then and then I graciously bowed out of the production. But on the first day, I saw a guy walk in, and he had curly hair, just like you. And all I saw was the back of his head. And I ran up to him and said, "Hey, Harry, what's up? Hey, Harry." He turns around, and it's Kaufman. He goes, "Nope, not Harry."
That's really funny.
And it's funny because I was actually bummed. Most people would be like really honored to see this guy, like this amazing writer or whatever. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm sorry. Well, poor guy,
I'm flattered. You're probably the one person on the planet who would be disappointed to see Charlie Kaufman. It's funny you say that because I had a similar experience the first time I met Charlie, in the early days of pre-production on Anomalisa. It was sort of the first meeting, and I went over to the office and was talking with Duke and Rosa, the co-director, producer, and they said, you're going to be the animation consultant on this. Do you want to come? You should come meet Charlie so you guys can start talking about stuff. And I go upstairs, and he's there, and he stands up, and I'm standing in the doorway, and we look at each other, and we have this moment because we're both about the same height.
Yeah. Kind
of skinny little guys with this big poof of curly hair. And
similar complexions,
and we look at each other from across the room, and for a second neither of us say anything, and we're like looking into these weird mirror images of each other, and then all four of us just start cracking up. It's like, all right, this is gonna be fun.
A little awkward, right?
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
That was how long did you stay there? You were only there for like maybe a few months or something?
Yeah, I was there for 2.5 or 3 months helping out with the animation, and then just they kept me around for a little bit as Charlie's lookalike, so he could step out and then people could come talk to him. I'm just kidding. That was about 2.5 or 3 months.
Okay, and then you went to Stupid Buddy Studios?
Went over to Stupid Buddy, yeah.
You directed something, or?
Yeah, the... part of the reason that I made the move was the web series that I co-created with a couple of friends of mine, Friendship All-Stars, or Friendship.
Yeah.
There's a nice long title for you.
The Del Toro one was hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
Mask eyes, the hand eyes, whatever that was. That was funny.
Yeah, that was a 10-episode series that myself and my two good friends, Justin Michael and Dan Lippert, co-created, and with Stupid Buddy sold to L Studio. Cool. So yeah, right around that time we went over there and went into production on that, and that was my year, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. It must be nice to go into a studio, like a big studio like Stupid Buddy Studios, and demand respect immediately. I'm the boss.
I don't know about demanding respect.
I know.
I mean, all those guys are great guys, and it was so much fun to work with them. Everybody at that studio is so talented, and to be able to have that kind of an amazing crew creatively to support your project, when prior to that, pretty much everything
just you and a few other people.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I've done that's a personal project has been me and maybe one or two other people working out of a bedroom or a garage. And to suddenly be able to collaborate with an entire puppet department and set department. See that come to life was really something.
I admire you a lot because you kind of came out of nowhere, and you're doing a lot of great stuff.
Thank you.
Your work has a distinctness about it, because when you see it, you go, "Oh, I know whose that is." You know what I mean? And it stands out in a good way.
Well, thank you very much.
So
I was gonna say it's because I animate a lot of it, and I'm not as good an animator as a lot of people. So it's probably that roughness.
No worries. So, what's going on now? You have a project coming up?
Yeah. I got a few things coming up. I've been working quite a bit at Stupid Buddy. There's a lot of great stuff coming out of there. A lot of commercials and things like that. Right now, I am prepping a personal project, which I'm excited about. It's sort of the first solo short film that I've attempted to helm since Behemoth, which was almost 5 years ago. So
nice.
Felt like it was time. It's a live-action stop-motion hybrid short.
Okay.
Called Steel Cut Oats.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird little fable. It's kind of a fantasy sci-fi noir short story.
Oh.
And it employs kind of classic Harryhausen style creature effects. Everything is live action except for a couple of creature characters and some sets. I want to do a lot with different kinds of traditional effects, stop motion, hanging miniatures, matte paintings, things like that.
Are you going to do it black and white, or is it going to be sepia or color? Or?
It's going to be color, but it's going to be a selective color palette. I think, to tell you just a little bit about the story, basically it's kind of a modern, or, well, modern's the wrong word because it's a throwback, but it's a take on the Legend of the Golem.
Okay.
You
mean Lord of the Rings Golem?
No.
People are going to hear this and go, Golem, Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, the Eastern European folktale Golem, where a rabbi creates a giant creature out of clay and brings it to life to protect the town.
Right.
It's sort of a weird sci-fi noir version of that, where a wounded boxer who was hurt by the mob for refusing to take a dive builds this giant protector out of oatmeal.
Oatmeal?
Oatmeal.
Wow.
Because it's what he had around, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the creature ends up being childlike, and he sort of raises it as a son.
Yeah.
And ends up teaching it how to box. And
neat.
It's kind of just this weird fable about legacy and what it is to follow in someone's footsteps, especially if you as the parent know that you're potentially sending them towards certain doom.
Oh, wow.
So the oatmeal creature is animated, and his opponent, who I don't want to spoil it, but
sure. Darth Maul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yoda actually jumping around, ping-ponging. No, his opponent, who he ends up fighting at the end, is also a stop-motion creature.
Oh, cool. It's Harryhausen, isn't it?
It's Harry. Yeah, Ray Harryhausen.
He's fighting Ray Harryhausen.
He resurrects Harryhausen. That'd be a different movie, but I would totally watch the hell out of that.
So, what are you making the puppets out of?
Puppets are going to be a combination of foam, latex. The oatmeal guy. He's very textured.
Course,
He's probably going to have some foam in him. The other character is more of a mechanical creature.
You're talking snip foam, not foam latex, but snip foam. Or are you going to mold it and cast it?
I'm still deciding that. I'm collaborating on the puppets with a very talented artist in New York, Ron Cole.
Oh, Ron. Okay, cool. Yeah.
He and I are still sort of hashing out the details. I'm currently storyboarding the film, and once that's a little more fleshed out, we'll be able to really look at all the action that the puppets need to do and tech that out. And
are you going to have him animate for you?
Or? Approach. I think I'm going to animate. I'm going to animate it.
Have him sip you the puppets?
Yeah. Cool. I mean, he's an amazing animator as well, but I want to. The East Coast West Coast thing is a little bit tricky. Yeah. I'm going to want to keep.
It's kind of cool that you're doing an East Coast West Coast thing, though.
Yeah, I know. That's the awesome thing. Like, this is a guy who I found. I'd sort of been following his posts on stop motion.
He's all over the
stop motion animation,
the live action stop motion thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hit him up through the forum on that site, and we started talking. And he's a really cool guy, and that's something I'm looking at with this project in a broader way. Just finding ways to get people involved all over.
Sure. Yeah. That's great. So what about the opponent? It's going to be like a mechanical creature, or?
Yeah, I said I wasn't going to spoil it, but I'll spoil it. His name is Steam the Machine.
Ooh, nice.
And he's a big steam-powered robot, essentially.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of just like a schizophrenic network of gears and pistons. Big steel drum belly. He's got a cattle catcher chest piece.
Oh, nice.
And they sort of go at it and fight, and every time he gets punched, steam seeps out of
nice
different sections. And again, like, something that I'm really looking to do with this short, what really excites me about it beyond just telling an interesting fable and getting to play with stop motion, I want to do something that aesthetically looks toward the future while also paying homage to the past. It's not just about the stop motion. It's also going to have matte paintings, hanging miniatures, traditionally animated 2D optical effects, like Frankenstein-style lightning and things like that.
So if you have a woman walking a dog, would you have a stop motion dog instead of a real one or something?
I don't know if I'll go that far with the dog, but definitely filling out the world, to create, in like wide master shots using miniatures and matte extensions to create a sense of geography that's a little bit heightened or fantastical and doesn't look like we shot in downtown LA.
Like Tom Thumb type of style?
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
Cool. Bullock's Brothers. Yeah. I love that stuff. I really want to do a lot more pixelation, but a lot of the time I don't like actors. They're hard to deal with, especially when you're trying to animate them. It's like, now, what's my motivation? Well, you just sit there and let me move you.
Yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of folks get into stop motion. Yeah. And honestly, my way back background is in live action. I went to school for live action, and that's another part of the impetus for making this short is wanting to get in and work with some actors again. I've had the opportunity to work over the last few years directing a lot of voice actors, and that's been a lot of fun. And I'm kind of looking forward to doing something that flexes both skill sets and gets some live bodies in the room that can argue back. Although puppets argue back in their own way,
and then they give up after a while. They just kind of fall apart. Yeah.
Which, going back to the question about whether they're going to be build-up puppets or molded and casted, that's part of the question too. Just looking at the overall amount of screen time and the scope, and seeing if it's something that you want to be. That's something you really have to think about whenever you build a puppet. Is what does it have to do, and how long does it have to do it for?
Do you need 3 or 4 puppets or one puppet? Right.
Right. We might need duplicates. And, if there are duplicates, maybe there is a way to do some animation remotely. If Ron or some of my other animator friends have a duplicate puppet in New York or Chicago or what have you, could be a fun way to collaborate.
The mechanical one I could see where it might be a little bit more expensive, cost prohibitive if you're doing all metal or wood or whatever, and you have a ball and socket armature in there. That guy,
definitely.
Most likely you'd want a ball and socket armature if you're doing a mechanical guy, right?
For the mechanical guy, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I've worked with ball and socket armatures and I've worked with wire armatures, and it really depends on the action. I find ball and socket is really good for subtle kind of creature effect type stuff or really subtle acting, but a wire armature you can just push so far.
Right.
And for some of the fight stuff in this, for some of the boxing
some
stuff,
length going,
it might be nice to kind of break those proportions and really be able to push the animation on that in a way that a ball and socket armature wouldn't necessarily be able to.
Sure. Are you a boxing fan?
That's a good question. To be completely honest, I'm not a boxing fan, but I'm a boxing movie fan. And that has made me sort of seek out boxing a little bit more. I'm learning, as I'm gearing up to shoot this, I'm becoming a boxing fan, I think. I'm learning a lot more about boxing than I ever thought I would. But the entry point to that for me was very much just old film noir movies. Kind of noir. I just watched that Rod Serling movie, Requiem for a Heavyweight. It's a boxing film from the 1950s.
I don't know that one. Sounds good.
It's good. It's kind of devastating.
Really?
It's not a...
Guy gets destroyed at the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that happens on... I guess that's
all
kind
boxing
of par
movies.
for the
guy,
course.
Yeah.
There's never...
Rocky's the only exception for that. Like Rocky 1, he made it through,
and that's the exception to the rule. Yeah, no, Requiem for a Heavyweight is interesting because it actually covers boxing and pro wrestling.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And it's at a time when pro wrestling was not...
Fake? It was real?
No, it was fake, but it was not a legitimately accepted form of entertainment.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Pro wrestling, at least the way it's portrayed in the film, is kind of what you do when you're too screwed up to box anymore. It's it's closer to like a carnival act or being in a sideshow.
Just being able to make some money.
Right, exactly. So the central boxer's question for the movie is, am I going to keep boxing or am I going to throw in the towel and disgrace myself by becoming a wrestler?
Now, I know you haven't started animating yet, so it's kind of an interesting conversation. Like, how are you going to go about in that process of when they're ready to box. So, boxing, the two guys will have rhythms, and the trick is to throw the other guy off with your rhythm. So you're doing one rhythm on your body, but it's kind of like a syncopation. So you got like, you're on a 4/4 beat, but you got a 3/4 going in the background, and you pop in that 3/4, and you surprise the guy because he doesn't expect it. You know what I mean? Are you going to try to do something like that? Where
definitely,
guys dancing around a little bit. And then,
I mean, as I gear up to animate, I'm definitely going to be watching a lot of real boxing. Sure. Also, that's something that you see not necessarily with the rules of boxing, but even if you look at old Harryhausen creature fight sequences, each creature is on its own wavelength and doing its own thing, and there's definitely a lot to look at. The other thing that's going to help is having really tight boards.
Oh yeah,
on this one, especially for the boxing sequences. I'm collaborating with this amazing storyboard artist, Ashley Lenz, who he'll laugh if he hears me say this. He's a craggy old Canadian guy who is awesome, and he's boarded for The Simpsons, Futurama, Disney, and for whatever reason he got excited by this project, and he's helping board some pretty amazing fight sequences that I'm looking forward to turning into stop motion.
So you're going to do any preparation for this in the sense of research? You're going to go get in the ring one day and
probably, yeah. I mean, really again, because it's partially live action.
Yeah.
Anybody who's in it is going to need to know how to box. What I'm planning on doing is finding a boxer actor to sort of appear in the film and also hopefully serve as a coach that can help the actors, and I'll probably want to get in there and learn a little bit about that too, just so I can internalize it with my own body before animating the characters.
So you're gonna
I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me,
yeah,
man.
yeah, you totally are. Better just start jumping rope now.
For those of you listening, I'm about 5'7", 130 pounds. I'm gonna. Yeah. That's gonna be bad.
That's tough. That's tough. I'm 206.
I get winded going up a flight of stairs. So.
Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm 206, and I try to train every single day in some kind of form of martial art, and almost on a daily basis I get my ass kicked.
Wow.
And so I started off doing Aikido, and that's great, but I'm 6'4". So there's a lot of height to be thrown on the ground. And honestly, I practice a lot of being thrown on the ground because you got to get used to that. And then I do karate, so I have a mean kick because I'm so long. And then I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 2 months ago.
That's awesome.
It hurts.
Yeah, but
you're so brutal.
But you're doing it.
Doing it.
That's the impressive thing.
Yeah.
That's what you got to
do.
Doing
3 martial arts at the same time, and the reason why I did that, and I know this is off subject, but the reason why I chose to do the 3 different ones is because when you start learning one, you go, well, if I'm doing this, how do I do this other thing? And then you start doing that other thing, and you go, okay, so I'm learning these 2 things at once, but now what about when I go down and I'm on the ground? Oh, now I need to learn that. So it's a mixture, and I kind of approached animation that way as well. It's like, I'm doing stop motion. Oh, well, what about the CG side of things? Oh, I'll go in the CG or compositing side of things. And then you get into the CG side of things because you're like, I need to make some fire. I need to make some smoke or something like that.
Learning how to stretch. I mean, I think that's common within stop motion too.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it amalgamates so many different art forms, people that are fabricators turned animators turned VFX guys.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just personally, I've worked in pretty much every department you can work in, because if you're going to do something yourself, you got to learn a little bit of everything. And
you can't get up to a brick wall and not be able to know how to get through it. You know, there's got to be a door somewhere. So you got to figure out all those things. And that's what I admire about that Bygone Behemoth. You did so much to build that one little short. I mean, I'm remembering him in the bathtub. Did you actually have bubbles in the bathtub? Am I remembering that correct? Maybe not. But I remember him.
I didn't have bubbles in the bathtub. I've done stuff since where I've done bubbles in a bathtub.
But I do remember that you had the wallpaper that was insane.
Yeah, he had this retro kind of mid-century flamingo wallpaper that. You talking about the bathroom wallpaper?
I just remember the wallpaper going, oh my God, did he paint that by hand?
One of them,
right?
One of them, yeah. The flamingo wallpaper I found and printed, but the wallpaper in his living room was hand painted with a stencil. It's actually modeled on, getting real nerdy here. It's modeled on the Nortons wallpaper in the sitcom The Honeymooners.
Oh, wow.
The Jackie Gleason thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just copy their wallpaper?
You don't see the Norton's apartment all that much in that show, but when you do, they've got really loud, crazy wallpaper.
Oh, that's cool.
So I found an episode, took a screenshot, and hand drew my best approximation of
obscure
what that looks like, and then cut it out in acetate and made a stencil and painted that in there. But
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to flexing new muscles with steel cut oats as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even just talking about animation performance, I've never done. In all my years of animating professionally, I've never done a huge fight sequence, and I think that's going to be fun. This kind of it plays both sides. My favorite thing to animate are sort of subtle character performances and little emotional acting scenes, and you get that too with the father-son relationship between this big hulking oatmeal beast and the dude and the wounded boxer. But it sort of straddles that line, and looking forward to playing with a bunch of different types of animated performance as well.
Now, how long is this production going to be? I mean, not production, but how long is the film going to be?
Production. I'm going to be an old man. No,
yes, sir.
The film itself is going to be 10 to 12 minutes.
Okay, that's a good length of time. But you're mixing live action with stop motion, so
right. Yeah, so it's probably about 5 to 6 minutes live action, and then 4 or 5 minutes of that will have animation in it as well.
How are you dealing with incentives for the campaign? Because I know you're running a Kickstarter coming up soon. Actually, by the time this gets released, the Kickstarter will be going.
It will, yeah. Wow, it's like we have a time machine into the future.
Wow.
How am I doing, guys?
You're doing great. Hey, let me check.
All right. Incentives for the Kickstarter. I mean, we're going to be giving away a lot of really cool stuff. I think the nice thing about stop motion is naturally through creating a project, you're generating all these different kinds of original art pieces. So I'm very much trying to keep my incentives to stuff like that. Like, I don't want to have somebody donate money and, hey, here's a T-shirt with this thing you've never heard of on it.
Right.
I want to say, thank you, here's an original storyboard panel. Okay. Here is a booklet of behind-the-scenes production photos. Here is an actual puppet from the production. So cool. We're giving away tangible stuff like that. We're also giving away some more experiential stuff, if you want to call it that. I'm going to be doing some Skype consultations for those that are interested, where we can talk about animation or your project or whatever you want.
Nice.
And on some of the higher tier rewards, there are things like visits to the stop motion set. Being able to come on set, meet the animator. Which may be me, maybe somebody else.
Sure, exactly.
I'm hoping to get some animator friends in to
nice.
help out. And
some celebrity names.
Celebrity names, yeah.
Some stop motion celebrities.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Hoping some of them will come play for a day.
Cool.
So stuff like that. But
it's funny because we're in a weird industry where you can just know almost everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about stop mo is regardless of where you're working, it's still a relatively small community of people, and you go from job to job, and it's like, oh hey, I saw you a week ago, or hey, I haven't seen you in a couple of years. But
exactly.
We're both still doing this.
Isn't that funny? It's a shared experience.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And everybody's just so cool, Like,
oh yeah, it's really strange. I mean, even if you have a problem with somebody, you just go, hey,
Yeah.
We didn't work it out. Yeah, we didn't work out this moment, so let's just figure it out later. Kind of thing.
I've wondered about that because, having worked in live action too, you meet so many
people burn bridges fast in live action.
Yeah, well, you meet so many egos and so many dicks, and I don't know if it's something about the mentality of stop motion, if it's methodical or just that you have to be a patient person.
You have to
get
be
involved
patient.
with
Yeah.
it. So maybe that makes your interpersonal relationships a
I
little
sometimes
easier,
find that like live action guys or girls coming into stop motion really don't mix well. So people that have worked in live action or expect to work in live action for their whole career and stuff, and they come into stop motion, they either majority of them get out, or if they're in, they still have problems within it. They just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Or they settle right in and realize that's where they were always supposed to be.
And those are funny because there's some that are like that, and you go, well, you did this amazing film back in the day, live action, and now you're in stop motion and you haven't done any live action since. And it's like one of those crazy, like, oh wow, that's pretty brilliant, But then you'll have the one guy that'll just and I won't say a name, but be extremely angry, but keep working in the industry. And you go, wow, how are you so freaking angry all the time? You know, it's just chill out. It's stop motion. It's like you're not going to die if you don't get the shot off today.
Yeah.
You know, take a breath, take a chill pill, stop drinking coffee. Yeah. And that's the one thing I like about stop motion, because with live action, you have to start at a specific time and end at a specific time every single day. With stop motion, if you're a few minutes over, if you're an hour over, if you're even a day over, it's still okay. You'll still get by. You know what I mean? You can't do that in live action. Your budget's blown.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah. Well, commercial world, even stop motion, you gotta make your day.
But, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But still, everybody, like I said, it's a more methodical mentality. You worry about the hours rather than the minutes, and even though that seems like a small difference, it's actually kind of huge.
Yeah. Very cool. So, where'd you come from originally?
Originally, I was born in New Jersey, but moved out to LA when I was about 5 years old. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm
you don't seem like you're from here, though. It's kind of funny, even though you grew up here. You don't seem like you're from here.
Yeah.
So I think I said that the first time I met you. I was like, "Oh, you're from East Coast," you know.
Which is funny because in a weird way, I've kind of never left. You know.
Right.
Moved out here, went to college at Cal Arts, so stayed within an hour's radius of the city, and then came back and started working in stop mo, and never really got out. But the nice thing about that is the same is true of a lot of my childhood friends. Like
they're still here.
They are, and we're still working together. You know, Justin, who I co-created Friendship All Stars with, we've been friends since we were 11 years old.
Oh wow!
He went to USC, so he stayed in town for school, and after that, you know, we still hang out all the time. Another one of my friends I've known since kindergarten. He's a producer out here, and it's kind of nice that we're all still able to hang out and do stuff together.
So, are they helping you out in this project coming up at all, or just your labor of love?
This is my labor of love. I've got a couple other things in the pipeline with both of them that I'm really excited about. Justin and I are pitching a TV idea together, and this other fellow, Jace, who I've known forever, we've got some stuff in the works as well.
Cool.
This one, again, like I said, it's sort of the first project I've helmed from beginning to end since Bygone, and I'm looking forward to taking a chance and seeing if I can still do something coherently all by myself.
What kind of budget are you looking at? Because I know that's a big factor of, like, are you doing 10,000, 20,000, or?
That's a good question, and it's funny, since we're recording this before
You'll
the Kickstarter releases.
Yeah.
I have a number in mind. I'm still adjusting it. Sure. It's going to be all said and done somewhere in the neighborhood of 30,000.
30,000. Wow.
But that's the on paper budget.
Right.
And I'm already talking to people about kind of favor trades and ways that you know, friends I have can help out in kind to bring that down.
I think a lot of people don't understand that these things cost money, you know, because they do. They cost exorbitant amounts of money just to even have a camera.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. And the tricky thing with this production is because it's a stop motion live action hybrid, you're essentially producing two completely separate pipelines that nonetheless need to remain in sync with one another and dovetail together at the end in a smooth way.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, honestly, most of that budget is on the live action side. Location fees, insurance, which at least for my stop motion, if I'm doing it in my garage, I don't need.
No, but if you're shooting live action, it's a minimum of 2,000. If you're independent, under 100,000, right? Or they probably raised it. It's probably like 3 to 4 now.
Yeah, and then crew, food.
Isn't it funny, because you wouldn't have to get a permit if you were in Iowa?
Yeah.
You know, but because you're in Los Angeles, you have to have this extremely expensive permit to shoot.
LA makes it really hard to shoot live action,
sad.
Which is unfortunate given where California's budget is at. I hope that they'll take a page from New Mexico, Missouri, all these other states that are giving tax incentives.
They have tax incentives. They have big ones now. They just had this. This last year. There's a lot of productions that are coming back to California. They're leaving other states. Yeah, it's not good for the other states, but it's good for Los Angeles. But then again, you know, it's it's never going to come back fully to what it was. It can't.
No, and I mean, a big part of that, too, is just that distribution has changed so much.
Big time, yeah. I like the fact you don't have to be in Los Angeles to make a film. You know, you can be anywhere. And sadly, if you know, I grew up on the East Coast and moved out here to work in television. I actually moved out here because of record deals, but then I moved out because of I had offered and do some television. By the way, the airplane that you hear, a helicopter, that's because we have the doors open in the garage doing the podcast.
Because it's July and it is hot.
It's hot. But so anyway, so if I would have had the opportunity back in the day to make films out of my house, my God, that would have been great, you know. But
yeah, I know.
The technology wasn't there, and the distribution wasn't there, and you know, now you can just buy a camera and make a film.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I was still trying, mind you.
Right.
I managed to get my hands on a Super 8 camera.
You were one of the lucky ones.
I know. Yeah, and I'm thankful for it. Shooting little animations with action figures and Matchbox cars. But even then, you had to send the film off to be developed.
Right.
3 or 4 weeks later, you'd get it back, and maybe it came out, maybe it didn't. So.
I used to borrow my friend's video camera. His family had a video camera, and we would just make little movies here and there, but it was no stop motion involved because you couldn't do the stop motion with that kind of camera, you know. And then, God, what was that? You remember that little? I always wanted one of those little tape deck cameras. It shot black and white, but it was on a cassette.
Yeah.
Those things were so cool, and I wanted one so bad.
Those have a cool aesthetic. I feel
they
like
do.
if somebody hasn't, someone should do a music video on.
They've done
one
it.
Of those.
There's a whole genre. I forget the name of it. And if the listeners listen to this and are getting bored, let me just tell you, it's one of the cool things to go back and look at all the VHS kind of filming technology and all the tube technology to film it, because it looks really interesting and different than what you get with just a HD camera nowadays. Because HD is just flat.
Yeah.
You know, and you really don't get depth of field unless you put special lenses on it and adapters and stuff.
And aesthetically, that's kind of what this short is about, too. It's about taking a step back and embracing the texture of old materials.
Sure.
Like, I have a lot of other projects, features, music videos, shorts that I'm using this short as a proof of concept or a sort of conceptual means of trying something like that and saying, you know what, it doesn't all need to be this digital thing. It's, you know, digital is a great tool and you can use it sparingly and it can help you out a lot, but there's something about traditional effects.
What kind of camera are you using?
I mean, if I had my druthers, I would be doing it on film.
Okay, yeah, of course. You gonna do a red camera or are you gonna do a black magic?
I think it's likely going to be
Panasonic has a 4K. It just came out recently.
I'm mind blanking right now.
It's all right. Canon, you're gonna do like is it a 90?
No, I think it's
It's okay. You're gonna use a camera. What about you?
I'm gonna use a camera.
Yeah. What kind of stop motion camera are you gonna use?
Lens.
You gonna get one of the Canon or Nikons or?
Yeah, I got a Canon 60D.
Okay.
Shoot on that.
It's a great camera.
Probably borrow some nice Nikon lenses.
Sure.
And I'm gonna start doing some tests soon. Again, talking about traditional techniques, just figuring out the best way to sort of comp these characters into their environment. Because, you know, there's always green screen, there's always front light, backlight. I have a feeling a lot of it is going to end up being front light, backlight, but I want to try and see what I can do with some rear projection type stuff, you know, just Dynamation style.
Totally.
Shoot some tests and
you could do the whole environment with the people in the background or something, right? Or...
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I really want to try to experiment and play with techniques and kind of push the envelope for integrating stop motion creature effects with live action characters.
Sure.
With this one.
So you finished the script already, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. How long did it take you to write script?
It's a good question. There's the snarky answer, which is
like a day.
No, the snarky answer is 10 years to think about it and 3 days to write it. You know, it depends on the script, and you're always rewriting it. Like, you know, I don't know what draft of the script, and I'm sure it's still going to change on set when actors have an idea for a line, or we realize, oh, this location doesn't have this thing that we thought it did, so you change it up. I mean, I've written a lot of scripts. I've written shorts. I've written features. Features, in a weird way, are easier to quantify because they're structured, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I know that a feature needs to be between 90 and 120 pages. It's going to have 3 acts. Like once I crack the outline for a feature, if I'm working on it full time, I know that I can get a working draft within 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
A short, if it's one scene of 2 people talking and I dreamed about it the night before, it could be a script I write in a day.
Sure.
If it's, a 20-page epic, it could be 6 weeks. It could be 12 weeks. I don't know. The script for this, if I had to estimate, I'd say probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Over a period of several years, kind of sitting on it, revisiting it, adjusting it, and then I'll see an old boxing movie and find something that I say, oh, I didn't think about that. I got to work that into this scene. But it's a constantly evolving process until we start shooting.
It's going to be interesting to see with boxing gloves on in the ring.
Oh, the puppets? Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about you behind the scenes. There's got to be some photography you're going to be taking, like you boxing and stuff.
I'll give you a call when it's happening.
Let me know. I'm coming by taking photographs.
Come take some photos.
Yeah, you're going to have this towering guy over top of you. And yeah, it'll be fun, though. It's one of those things. Boxing is a subject of a lot of debate because there was the bare knuckle boxing back in the day.
Sure.
And if you had to bare knuckle box, you had to do it the right way so you didn't break your hand. And then they switched to gloves, and now there's this whole thing about getting concussions from gloves, and it's crazy. And was it Mayweather in his defensive boxing as opposed to an offensive boxer?
That fight was a joke.
Was it? You didn't like that one?
No.
Because some people loved it. I guess 2% of them loved it because they were like, he was doing defense the whole time. Yeah,
it's really a strange sport.
Right.
I'm not really a sports fan. I was the kid that was failing PE, and if you throw a ball at me, I won't catch it.
Sure.
But everything is, boxing included, everything is regulated and everything evolves, but I feel like it's one of the last blood sports. It feels almost gladiatorial or something.
Oh, yeah.
It's like at the end of the day, it's 2 guys beating the shit out of each other.
Beating the hell out of each other for money.
Yeah.
Of all things. That's one of the problems I kind of look at. People getting hurt like that all the time. I watch UFC fights all the time, and I enjoy it. But I think I'm enjoying it because I want to see the different styles and how they're using and defense and whatever else. And actually, this may sound crazy, but the fights where they don't really get too hurt, but you see the exchange where they're getting in and out of the bad positions, and they're it's almost like a kung fu movie, because there's some of those fights that you watch, you go, wow, that's a perfect counter,
Yeah.
And they're not really laying too many hits, but they're definitely countering.
Well, in a way that's more entertaining.
It's way more entertaining, and except for when the guy's getting pummeled, and those aren't fun. You feel sorry for the guy getting pummeled.
Yeah, so. Definitely. And I feel like, just speaking thematically, and I guess you asked me before if I was a boxing fan.
Yeah.
I was thinking, all right, well, why did I decide to write this short if I'm not a boxing fan? I
Right.
think just as a bigger thematic question, it's sort of an easily distilled version of just philosophically, all right, why do you decide to go into something that is going to be a world of pain?
Yeah.
And some people do it for the gamble. Some people do it because they actually enjoy the pain. But
they don't know any better.
It's regardless of what you choose to do in life, there are paths that are going to be like that, and there are paths that aren't. And I just think it's an interesting question of willingly sending yourself down a path like that. Hey, being in the film industry is like that
exactly.
too. It's like,
so are you gonna have T-shirts made?
T-shirts?
Yeah, are you gonna do T-shirts at all?
I don't know if I'm gonna do T-shirts.
Come on, you gotta do T-shirts.
T-shirts?
You should do it black and white. Just
maybe.
Simple. Because people love T-shirts.
People love. I don't know. Do people love T-shirts about things that they've never heard of?
Yeah. Anything obscure like that, it's a hot ticket sometimes.
Yeah. Well, how about we do T-shirts? You take some pictures when I'm in the ring getting my ass kicked, learning how to box, and we can print some T-shirts.
We could do that for like the image of you, black and white.
Like one of those nice close-up slow motion photos of my face contorting as a fist
that sounds
impacts
good.
It.
No title at all, just that. Yeah. That sounds awesome, actually.
Just that on a website.
I love that. Actually, I would buy one of those.
Yeah.
You don't even have to get beat up. You could just be you with some gloves on, staring at the camera.
Get one of those ultra slow-mo cameras.
We should do a poster. Ultra slow-mo cameras, 1,000 frames per minute or something.
That's something, incidentally, just going back to style again, I want to play with a little bit with the stop motion in this kind of... I've never seen... slow motion is like the hardest thing to do in stop motion.
Oh, I've worked in it. It's horrible. It's miserable.
But I haven't seen too much ultra like sports movie slow-mo.
Right.
So,
we had to do some ultra slow motion on Frankenhole.
Yeah.
And that was brutal. Who was it? Sevelin had to do it.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
If there was ever a guy to do it, it's him. I did one slow-mo shot on Robot Chicken years ago. It was someone running on a beat. It was a Baywatch thing.
Oh, nice.
And I think she only had to take about 3 steps. It's maybe 2.5 seconds of animation. It took me a day and a half or 2 days.
Oh, gosh.
And every frame was a struggle.
It's just a little creeping forward, and then if you bump it a little, it's off. Yeah.
But when you get it, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, we had this one where the main character, Vincent, was, I think that's his name. I can't remember anymore, but he's like putting his hand on his face because he just blew up the building, the castle, and he's slowly pulling the hand down his face like, and it took forever for him to get it all the way down. And I think that shot was like maybe 3 or 4 seconds long.
Wow. Yeah, Savelin is so good at doing, he's an amazing animator in every respect, but those micro increments.
I can't
do how he does it.
I remember we had to, they wanted to slow it down even more than that. And it was like, are you kidding? That's pretty slow. Yeah. He's a good guy. He actually moved back east.
Yeah. He started an animation school back there, I believe. Blue Forest Animation.
Blue Forest Animation, yeah. So, good on him, man.
Yeah, I know.
Get the hell out of LA. I mean, you're from here, so it's not that bad for you, but
he's an amazing animator and an amazing teacher. Anybody listening to this, if you're on the East Coast, should check that out.
Which state did he go to? Which state did he go to? Is it North Carolina?
New Jersey, I believe.
New Jersey. Okay. Yeah. I mean, bravery. Just get the heck out. And you don't have to be in LA to do animation. I had a conversation with a guy recently, and I was telling him, I was like, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here to make money. It's all about your talent and your abilities, and just learn as much as you can, do as much as you can. I mean, especially for like listeners out there, and you're getting out of animation school, or you're going to animation school and you want to work in the field. There's a ton of animation studios all over the United States and the world that you could work at. You don't have to come to LA to get a job.
Yeah, and like you said, the technology is so accessible now.
Right.
Like the way you can prove yourself with a cheap camera and a freeware frame grabber. That can become your portfolio piece or your way in.
I've known people that used to make 6 figures before they got into animation, and they full on like $120,000 a year, $200,000 a year for their jobs. And their master's degrees or doctorates and stuff in engineering and all sorts of stuff, and they owned houses, and cars, and stuff. And then they left all that to work in the animation industry or work in TV and film. And you go, why did you do that? Oh, I'm chasing the dream. You're like, you could have paid for your own movie. You could have still done the animation and all that other stuff while you were working, still had the security, this money, and be completely sane. Now you're driving yourself insane trying to survive and make a movie. And I think it's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, you can still be an animator, and when you break, let's say you do make something that's awesome and it breaks and you want to leave but taking a leap of faith like that's a little dangerous,
Yeah. So it's definitely, it's like any career in the arts. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta work at it and know that there's never gonna be a point that you're like, it's freelancing. There's never gonna be a point that you're like, okay, I'm okay. I never need to worry about anything.
You're not gonna get rich in stop motion for sure. It's a hero's art. So you're a hero if you do it. And you're going to starve. And most heroes starved unless you were a Knights Templar, and just stole money from the big temple,
Yeah, but the key is to every job you're on, use it as a learning experience. You're inevitably going to pick up skills that you can use towards your next thing.
Right.
There's never going to be a point that you're like, okay, I know everything. I'm there now. I am a stop motion filmmaker.
Right. Do you know who Don Dollar is?
No, I don't.
Don Dollar did Night Beast. It's a famous film that was released around the same time as Star Wars. and it never went into movie theaters, or if it did, it was like only in there for like a weekend or something, because it was made from a guy that lived in Baltimore, Don Dollar. And Don Dollar, he shot the whole...
Is that his real name?
Yep.
Don Dollar?
Dohler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he also created, God, is it Cinemagic? I think he created Cinemagic magazine. And so he actually produced a lot of stop motion books and stuff that you can't actually get anymore, like how to make armatures and stuff. This is way back in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
And so he made Night Beast, and all the because Star Wars was huge and everybody wanted science fiction stuff, and this thing was made in his backyard, he was able to sell it and get a great distribution deal and make a lot of money off of it, and that broke him. He was just some guy. You know, and so I always use him as a model when looking at, like, hey, you want to do something, just do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be in the industry to do something amazing. And his movie, of course, you know, it's a backyard movie, but the guy's a legend now. He created one of the most iconic filmmaking magazines in the world, and also created a whole series of like B movies that are up there with, you know, all the classic B movies like Babes from Mars and stuff, you know.
That's pretty cool.
It's really neat. Yeah. So, you know, you don't have to be in the industry. And the whole learning thing, I agree with you. You do have to kind of be in it, but to be in it, you could just do it.
I love the idea of B movies as kind of an experimental proving ground. Lately, B movies, I feel like the genre's changed because it's become so self-aware, and you have intentionally bad, funny B movies
like Avengers.
Yeah, or Sharknado 6.
Sharknado.
Or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
If you go back,
yes, Avengers is a B movie. I'm sorry. So
Avengers is a B movie,
but it's great. I loved it.
It's a very expensive B movie.
One of the most expensive ever made. But you were saying, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if you go back, you have directors like Jacques Tourneur, who was working with this producer Val Lewton, and he was this French filmmaker who he made Curse of the Cat People.
Oh yeah,
and I Walked with a Zombie.
Right.
You know, all these kind of cheesy titles, but you watch his films, and he's such a master of suspense and atmosphere and cinematography. And he was able to do that precisely because they were B movies. He was flying under the radar, and studio executives were leaving him alone. Like, we're not spending any money on this movie, which left him free to experiment and try these techniques. And
right. Well, Curse of the Cat People didn't even have a cat person in there. It was a shadow, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy. And that was one of those films that they made films about that film, because the film was like legendary. You don't ever see the monster, and that was a big thing for B movies. After that point, was like,
well, it's cost effective.
It's you can't see the monster. Great, okay, you just people screaming the whole time. I guess that's where a Paranormal Experience or whatever that thing is called. Like, you don't see any monsters. This kid getting dragged across the floor. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, the effects side of things are, you're saying you can do a lot of practical effects. The effects side of things, if you're going to do the practical, you're probably going to go back towards like you're going to maybe do some downshooter stuff, or do some in-camera effects, or
for like the optical effects. You know, there's
that's right, optical.
Without getting too deep into the story, there are some radioactive things. There's some lightning. There's electricity.
Are you going to do practical lightning, like optical lightning?
Optical, yeah, hand-drawn animated lightning.
Yeah.
And just finding ways to do that heightens the story. For example, there's the scene where the evil mobsters close in on the boxer for refusing to take a dive. They break into his living room, and they start fighting with him, and a lamp turns over, and then we tilt up, and you see the fight happen in shadow.
Oh, brilliant.
But I want to do that as a traditional 2D animated sequence.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got these 2D silhouettes that are completely animated, and for a second, the movie's just going to go into that.
Are you going to do hand-drawn, or are you going to do clay on glass and project it against the wall?
Hand-drawn. What I'll probably do is rotoscope it, but then push everything further.
Right. And I think people are going to get confused because there's a bunch of different terms of rotoscope. So rotoscope can be like live action and then drawn over top of that, or even puppet animation drawn over that, right?
Right, yeah. As opposed to roto rig removal.
Exactly.
You know, all the
roto compositing.
All the old Ralph Bakshi movies, roto, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, again, aesthetically, I want to harken back to all of those techniques, but ultimately the purpose that it serves is telling a character-driven story.
Sure.
I feel like I don't know, regardless of the techniques you use, if there's not a story with heart at the center of it and an emotional connection between two characters on screen or between the audience and a character on screen, it doesn't matter what it is. So
right, exactly. So you want to fall in love with the character that's the lead. You know, a good guy or a bad guy, you just want to like them.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't like them, you don't want to watch the movie.
Right,
You
and
know?
I feel like with this, I got two shots at it because I got a live action guy and I've got a puppet guy. So hopefully, one or the other or both will resonate with people.
Now, have you seen that Daredevil series on Netflix?
I have.
Yeah, so that's got a lot of boxing in that.
Yeah, that was what I liked best about it. Actually,
Yeah. It's one of those things where the guy's just taking a whipping.
Yeah.
You know, so are you gonna with your characters, you're gonna really like give it to them? They're gonna get the shit beat out of them, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine line. The Daredevil series, I liked that it was gritty for the Marvel Universe and that franchise allowed them to push something. But in places, I thought it was actually too gratuitous or violent for the sake of being violent.
Sure.
I think with Steel Cut Oats, you know, it's a boxing story. You're going to see people get hit. And if it's a moment that needs to be impactful to the story for you to feel that character's pain in a visceral way, yeah, it's going to be graphic, but I want to be careful about how I show that and how much I show that, because a lot of times it can be, you know, talking about cat people, a lot of times it can be more effective just to hear something or just to imply something.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to, it's not going to be a torture porn boxing movie, but
yeah, totally. You can't have that, you know. Even though something in that vein might be a little bit fun with, you know, crazy creatures. Did you see the what is that? Is it Cold Steel or the one with Hugh Jackman?
Real Steel.
Real Steel. Did you see that one?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that movie. A lot of people didn't like that, but
It's
I thought
a fun movie.
Yeah, they're boxing in there and there are a bunch of robots.
Yeah, I mean it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
It totally
the movie,
is.
But,
yeah. You kind of get pissed the first time he destroys the robot. You're like, oh, dude, you had this great thing. And
you had a good thing there. I mean, that's how I felt about the first Iron Man movie. I liked the big blocky retro Iron Man suit.
Yeah, totally. He should have gone further with that one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, or bring that one back somehow.
Yeah.
You can't move in that thing though. You know, there's it's off subject, but there's a giant robot that somebody just built in like Massachusetts or Maine or something, and he just challenged a company in Japan with their giant robot to a battle.
Really?
Yeah. So I think what they're going to try to do is like paintball battle or something, which is kind of stupid because there's no damage. And how do you assess the damage?
If you sink millions of dollars into a robot prototype, I guess you don't want to risk someone else's bigger, scarier robot ruining 10 years of research.
I think it's brilliant though, because you could have like a paintball battle with these two giant robots through an obstacle course.
That's pretty cool.
You know, that would be just awesome to watch. You know, it's too bad we can't have like robot wars where if they get hit a certain amount of times, the robot just shuts down.
Yeah, well, I always liked that show back in the day, BattleBots. You ever watch that?
BattleBots. Yeah, they brought it back.
Did they?
There's a whole BattleBot thing going on right now.
I've been in a cave basically working on this thing. And,
well, Fawn Davis. Do you know who Fawn Davis is?
Yeah.
So Fawn Davis is one of the judges on
way.
BattleBots. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
He'd be good for that.
He's perfect for it. Yeah. I mean, if anybody can build a robot, it'd be Fawn. You know.
Well, now I know what I'm watching tonight.
There you go. There you go. I think I'm going to watch the what is it? Special Ops Alf show on YouTube.
Special Ops Alf?
I can't remember what it's called, but basically, so you remember Alf, the television series?
The cat-eating alien?
Yeah, the cat-eating alien. So my friend Tom, we were talking about it because he gave me some Alf trading cards because I used to have a whole series and I kind of lost them in a move. And he's like, oh, I got seconds. Here, take my seconds. I was like, sure.
Don't worry. There's more Alf
trading cards out there. And so he gave me all his baseball versions. And then we were talking, I was like, man, it really sucked at the last episode of Alf, you know? And he's like, oh, dude, you don't know. There's like a whole movie of Alf after that experience. And he's like at Area 51. I'm like, oh, dude, this is great. So I found it on YouTube.
Is that like, do they go alien autopsy on it?
No, they use him for something or like research or something. But it's in the same vein as like Star Wars: A Christmas Special.
Oof.
It's bad. Yeah, I think it's actually bad. So I'm gonna watch it and keep my fingers crossed.
I was happy they finally put that one online. I thought that was something that George Lucas was never gonna let the world see.
I think he's still not letting anybody see it.
No, he's not. But there are enough bootleg VHS copies. You can find the whole thing on YouTube.
That's one special that should be remade. It really should, but done properly.
Maybe.
No Wookiees, right?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Art Carney and B. Arthur are dead. So that might not go so well. Art Carney's the only one in that special who's legitimately not phoning it in. Like he's actually doing a good job acting opposite all the Wookiee puppets.
Dude, there was so much nonsense in that thing.
Yeah.
Oh God, I actually had to turn it off after 15 minutes.
I mean, it's almost a bad Andy Kaufman routine where you have an entire 15-minute sequence entirely in Wookiee with no subtitles.
No subtitles. It's just it's crazy. Like, what are they talking about? I don't know. My daughter actually had to leave the room. She hated it. She's like, I can't take this.
Just pieced out.
Totally pieced out. Now I watched the Pee Wee Herman. We're way off subject, but I watched the Pee Wee Herman. What do you call it? Christmas special. And I can tell you that was rough to watch. I watched the whole thing.
I haven't seen that.
Really rough to watch. You're sitting there going, what the hell is he doing? There's all this crazy, he's got all these characters. It's like a variety show. And it was neat, but it's dated.
I love Pee Wee. Pee Wee was one of the things that got me into stop motion back in the day.
Was it, Ken Burton? Is that who I'm thinking of?
Ken Burton did the dinosaurs. Another friend of mine, Rob Niosi, directed all the refrigerator people. Stop motion.
And then there was a penny cartoon. So I talked to some of the guys that animated on that.
Yeah.
Man, it's amazing. It's just amazing, eclectic mix of all these different types of artistry, like backyard animation.
I know.
In a sense.
Yeah, I'm waiting for another kid show to capture that same. I mean, there's so many great kid shows on right now. It's a good time for it, but another kid show that does that same multimedia kind of bonkers.
Well, we need
animation
that.
Thing.
We totally need that. I mean, we had Liquid Television at one point that had a variety of different types of forms of art.
Yeah, and you got Gumball, which mixes some stuff.
Yeah, Gumball's great. That mixes a lot of that stuff. But there's no variety in the sense of like different directors, different arts, around the United States, mix of puppets and live action, stop motion.
You had Kablam back in the day on Nickelodeon with Prometheus and Bob and Life with Loopy.
Yeah, so good.
Action League Now.
Yeah, Action League Now is great.
Which I always loved because they would have sort of as minimally animated as possible shots and then just cut to a guy wiggling the
exactly.
toy.
Or there was one scene where they're on the back of the dog and they just chase the dog around the yard. And that was great. Those were brilliant. I mean, there's nothing like that now. It's sad. I guess
get on it, John.
I'm gonna have to, but I'm 14 hours a day coming up this week. So yeah, I'm working on Tumbleleaf. If anybody's curious, I'm working on Tumbleleaf season 2.
Another good animated kid show.
Dude, it's brilliant. It's
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. I can't say anything wrong about that show. It is so good. It's shocking the level of texture that show gets. There's so much detail to everything, and they have a number of artisans that are in there. But Jason, the guy that's in charge of it, is of the I guess the art design, the look of it. Oh man, he's so talented. There's so much stuff going on there. The way that they do grass, because we worked on Robot Chicken together and stuff like that, right? So Robot Chicken grass versus like what is that called? The static grass that you'd shake from the
flocking?
Flocking, yeah. The flocking grass that they're doing on Tumbleleaf versus like a Robot Chicken, like just throw it together kind of thing. Night and day. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it all depends on the aesthetic.
It does. It does. You kind of have to have the cheesy with the Robot Chicken for sure.
I feel like that grass is what Robot Chicken needs. Anything beyond that might feel out of place, depending on how stylized something is. I've seen Fun Fur make great grass.
Fun Fur is a brilliant. I actually have some sitting back. There's some green stuff that I want to dye even darker green. So that stuff is great. I've what was there? We worked on something, or I think you and I worked on something. Oh, Frankenhole. Did you work on Frankenhole with me?
Yeah.
They used Fun Fur. The grass on that was amazing. It's funny. I don't remember you working with me on there because I was in a whole other part of the building.
Well, I jumped between departments on Frankenhole. I started in the art department on the first season, and then went into animation.
So did you do season 2 though?
I did season 2 as well.
So I mean, we had to have worked together. I don't know if I had lunch with you or anything because I was upstairs locked in a room and never came out.
Yeah, I saw you a couple of times, but they didn't let me out during the day, and they didn't let you out at night.
No, not at all. We didn't meet. Yeah, I went down the stages rarely, and when I did, most of the animators were gone. I was jumping on their sets, pretending I was like in the shot. So yeah, that's a fun show.
Yeah, it was a cool looking show.
Yeah, that. You talk about design aesthetic. That alone was my first exposure to something that had an extreme, like, far end spectrum of a look. because they were going
with the flat papery.
Yeah,
puppets,
they were going with that Dr. Cabinet, whatever that thing's called. Do you remember that show? It's very obscure, black and white.
Cabinet of Caligari.
Yes, Cabinet of Caligari. They were going for that kind of look, and it was like, whoa, and the shapes and the hard edges, but they had curves to them, and
which is hard to. Speaking from an art department standpoint, that's hard to build for.
Oh yeah.
Like when we went on to do Ron and Guillermo for Friendship All Stars, I was building Guillermo's bookcase, which I wanted to have that very German expressionist, canted, angular thing, and I had so much trouble trying to get that thing to fit together and not look like it was falling apart.
Yeah. Did you ever have Huey Vu work with you on some of that stuff?
I've worked with Huey, Huey's amazing.
But you had to work under him on well, he wasn't season 1 of Frankenhole, right? He was season 2.
Season 2, we worked together on that.
Yeah, but he's brilliant. That guy, he can build you anything.
I know, and I mean he's a jack of all trades too.
Oh, yeah.
He's a super talented designer, builder, everything, illustrator. Yeah.
You remember that brain that was in the tank, the fish tank?
Yeah. That was It's funny you bring up that episode because for whatever reason I got on a stage that episode was shooting, and I think I pretty much animated that episode.
Nice.
Like from minute 5 on or whatever. I was stuck on that episode for several months.
They were in that room the whole episode.
I know, they
too.
never left. So
my god!
Like, all right, next shot. But I like that episode.
That's a fun one. Yeah. To make that, he had to do a whole bunch of different versions of pouring different types of plastic into a mold with the brain to see if it would actually be translucent with no bubbles and stuff.
Yeah.
And he had to try the different ones because he wasn't sure what the final look he really liked. And when he got one, when he finally got one, it looked clear, and I went, dude, teach me that. Because I was trying to do something similar. I was trying to pour a clear plastic into
Were you encasing a mosquito in amber for your Jurassic Park fan film?
I wish. No, I was encasing a brain. I was encasing a fake brain that I had sculpted into I was trying to make a what do you call it, like a lava lamp type of thing with a fake brain, and I kind of failed happily though, because that thing was just anyway. It'll future work. I'll probably do it again, you know. But it was one of those projects that like you start working and then you sit your puppets and all your props and stuff sit for a year, and you come back and like something's growing mold, or it's been in funky position, and it's like you can't reanimate that or save it because the foam is all crushed in certain areas and stuff. And
yeah, that's the sad part. I have a little case where I keep a lot of the puppets and props that I've built for various things over the years, and just watching them slowly decay and crumble. But you know, we got them on film. That was the important part.
IKEA has some brilliant little glass cases now to put your puppets in.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, they have little locks on them.
The kind of retro metal. Yeah, I was tempted to get one of those because my current case is overflowing a little bit.
My wife will kill me.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed.
Well, that's part of the reason with the rewards for Steel Cut Oats. I'm looking forward to being able to give away.
So you don't hold on to stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta get better at that.
Oh, you see my shelf over here?
Yeah.
My menagerie? Yeah. It's crazy. So that's all that's left, I think. Actually, I have a train up here. And nobody can see this, of course, but I have this huge train up there. That was from the Disney project that I did.
Right. Yeah.
And they never finished painting it, so of course they were going to throw it away in the dumpster. I said, "You can't throw that away. I'll take it." It was made by MakerBot. Mm-hmm. So MakerBot and Disney Interactive kind of joined forces, and they 3D printed these trains. By the way, it was a stupid idea. I'm sorry, guys. It was really bad because you're 3D printing something that can be made within like a couple days. Where if you 3D print it, it takes a month.
Right.
But if you build it by hand, it takes a couple days to build. So their whole schedule was banking on this 3D printed train. There are 3 of them, 3 different versions, small, medium, and large. And they regretted it afterwards.
Things behind.
Yeah, they really regretted it afterwards. Plus, MakerBot said that they were teaming up with them and they were going to donate it and whatever. And then they ended up charging them so much money. So, you know.
3D printing is an interesting tool for stop motion. I feel like when it's used well, it's amazing, and when it's overused or used for the wrong application, it can be disastrous.
Yeah,
but
it's a very Jedi thing, you know. You have to have the right intention with it.
Yeah.
You know? If you have the wrong intention with using it, it comes across stupid.
Well, I think there's, and you know, each production has different creative needs and different priorities. I think that there's something, at least for me personally, I think it's an exciting tool, but over-reliance on it gives me pause. I think
Right.
that
Or
there's
the whole mouth replacement thing. Is that what you're talking
there's
about?
something mouth replacement. I mean, it can be great for that,
Oh
but
yeah.
I like the impreciseness of hand sculpted
Right.
mouths
Right.
and the randomness that you get when you're sculpting something with your hands, and just having an animator be able to make a facial expression decision on the fly versus some productions that are completely 3D printing the entire face.
Well, the whole show's animated before the animator even gets to it.
Yeah.
Because all the faces, and
then you may encounter something where the body language that you're doing suddenly doesn't
match the facial expressions.
Doesn't jive with the face.
Exactly.
So.
Well, given that Leica is like on the forefront of all this, I've heard people complain about their stuff, and in their defense, devil's advocate in a sense, but in their defense, their stuff looks so ultra clean.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it's like it doesn't, you wouldn't know if it was 3D printed or if it was CGI.
No, and I think there's amazing stuff coming out of Leica.
Yeah, brilliant stuff.
I don't dislike it at all.
But I agree with you.
For me, it's not for me.
Yeah, I know, and I agree with you though, because for Leica, like a Leica film, you expect it, know. But if you were to see a 3D printed, so on Tumbleleaf, I'll give you a great example. Those mouths aren't 3D printed. Those faces aren't 3D printed. Those are sculpted, molded, and cast, all hand done. And the animator can make a choice on the fly to change a mouth out. A track reader only does their job to a certain degree, and then the animator goes on there and he does his little review of it. He goes, oh well, I'm gonna switch this up here and do my facial expression this way. And for that, it's brilliant because then they can really get a great performance on it. In this last season that we're on right now, which I can't really talk too much about it because I have an NDR, but the facial expressions are extreme now. It's like you look at it and you go, what did he just grimaced? He just got this weird funky grimace and then now he's smiling. It's like this
cool.
Dramatic difference. I don't like that, but this is great. It's that kind of thing. And
I like to think about that when I'm designing a character too, because I think if you commit to one technique for an entire show, sometimes you miss out on combining things for different characters that could be interesting. When we were on Friendship All-Stars, depending on the character, I would design the character with different mouth and eye techniques for whatever persona seemed appropriate. We did replacement mouths on some of the characters. For one character who was particularly frenetic, we did a series of sticker mouths that just looked over the top. Nice. Another guy had just a Rankin Bass style mustache, Santa style that bounced. Yeah. Eyes were everything from little applied dot eyes that darted around to fully nested mechanized beads.
Cool.
Depending if it was, a wide-eyed, excitable character or maybe a beady-eyed, more sinister character. So I think that, being aware of all the techniques and tools in your toolbox, sometimes you can get more interesting combinations if you don't just beeline for the one thing or the latest thing.
Right. I personally like just the open and close technique. Just open the mouth, close it, open, close it, open.
Yeah, that's how we did. That's how we did Ira Glass, kind of ventriloquist dummy style.
Yeah, it's totally funny. It works for me. I can live with that because it's easy. One, it's easier to do the track sheets.
Yeah, it's very forgiving.
Exactly, and you can just mess with stuff. When you start getting into the phonetic structure of the dialogue, sometimes you can get a little off, especially when you're frame counting your own movements and stuff, and you didn't do your track sheets properly. You just go, oh shoot, I have to do this over again, or I have to cut some frames out and go back, and that always drives me crazy. I'm not if it's CG dialogue, easy. I could do that all day long. CG dialogue and doing the facial shapes and the morph textures and stuff on that, which you probably don't deal with. But in CG, you set up the facial maps, and then you use a slider and a morph slider, and you can slide the facial expressions to do different things and blinks and whatever else.
We worked a lot on that in pre-production of Anomalisa, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
We were working digitally for the first portion of that. But
man, that's almost done.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to see it. What I've seen looks beautiful. But
the film is crazy.
Yeah, I think lip sync for stop motion, especially in a cartoony style, simpler is better. You get too many shapes in there and it starts to look funky.
Well, the whole Rankin Bass style of lip syncing I love because it's either open and close or it's like 3 different shapes or 4 different shapes and that's it. They don't they don't go crazy. Or the mustache in the mustache movement. I just love that. What is it? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So Santa's mustache is just all over the place, and he slightly opens his mouth.
Yeah, I know.
And then the dentist guy, or not? He has like a sticker mouth on, and his little teeth. It's so silly.
It's all over the place.
Silly, crazy
whatever,
stuff.
Whatever worked for the character and told the story.
Right, Mad Monster Party. That's one of the things too. Is I see a lot of styles. So like your Friendship All Stars kind of remind me of Mad Monster Party.
Oh yeah,
it totally did, because I was watching it going, oh wow, this is definitely, and that's what I liked about it.
I love Mad Monster Party. Yeah. Big fan of it was Jack Davis did those designs.
Sure, your animation was smoother, of course.
Oh well, thank you. We try.
Yeah, but they didn't have frame grabbers back in those days. But for the most part, you guys were right on, and it was, the performance was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, where do you see those? Are they? They're online.
They're online. They're at lstudio.com,
lstudio,
which is Lexus's media company,
right.
And they're also on lstudio's YouTube channel.
Okay,
and you can see them at friendshipallstars.com.
You guys gonna try to do some more?
We'd all love to. I think it's just a question of
budget,
if at this point. But
right. You got any other plans besides this film that you're working on?
Yeah, most of my focus right now is geared towards this short and launching the Kickstarter and trying to raise the money to do it and get it off the ground. But lots of other stuff in the works. Pitching a show with a TV show with my two Friendship All Stars co-creators, which I can't talk about too much.
Of course you can't. No, you're not allowed.
We're very excited about that.
So you've done quite a bit of pitching, right?
A fair amount.
So when you go in, what do you go in with a bag of tricks, like three things to pitch, or do you go in with just one thing to pitch?
No, I find generally it's best to go in with one thing. I mean, sometimes you'll take a general meeting, and if that's the case, you'll go in with log lines for a bunch of different ideas. But usually, if you set up a pitch, it's for one thing specifically.
Sure.
Because you never know who you're going to catch and how they're going to be on the day, and you don't want to give them an opportunity to say no to your three best ideas.
Oh, okay. So I've heard opposite. I've heard that you go in with like 20 ideas. Of course, you're only throwing out like 5, but you go with the flow of what they're interested in. You kind of suss them out first, and you go, okay, well, this is what you like. Then how about this?
Yeah, I think it depends if it's more of a general meeting with a place. Usually when I'm pitching something, it is for one specific idea that we're going to take out. But to that end, I'll go in with a lot of different ideas about that project, and you'll definitely tailor the pitch based on what it seems like whoever you're pitching to is keying in, or if they say, oh, well, I don't like that, then you have another episode idea or whatever that maybe more in line with what they're looking for. But ultimately, and this is going to sound like a cliche, I think it's about going in and being yourself and being a person. There's this idea of going into a pitch with this kind of schmoozy mentality or putting on a show or a performance. But really, I think it's about, and obviously it's easier said than done, and I'm working on it myself, but having confidence in your idea and pitching the purest form of your idea.
Right. Well, it's a sales meeting as well.
Yeah.
So you have to sell them yourself. You're like, hey, this is what I have. This is who I am, and this is what I believe in. And you can easily oversell something.
Right. And you are selling yourself as a collaborator, too.
Exactly.
You're saying, this is the idea, and this is me, who, if you like the idea, we'll have to be working with. So
I've heard a lot of meetings, they don't want full ideas. They don't want you to have figured everything out. They want you to just kind of have an outline type of thing, maybe some rough sketches or something, but you don't go in there with a full character design. You don't go in there with a full episode.
Yeah, I think it's best to give a taste, because the more you put out there initially, the greater the chances are there'll be something in there that rubs them the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about that? Did you work on Hell and Back?
I did not.
You did not? That was a funky. It was just as funky as Anomalisa. They're 2 adult-themed shows. I don't think anything wrong about those productions, because they were actually interesting productions. And Hell and Back was Hell and Back, and Anomalisa was Hell and Back as well. But thank you.
You need like a little
button,
a rim shot.
I need a little applause thing too, so I can like amuse myself.
Canned laughter.
But yeah, canned laughter, exactly. Walla Walla or whatever. But those productions were hard to work on, because they were low budget and just brutal. Hours were crazy, but they were fun to work on regardless.
Yeah, both of those should be coming out pretty soon.
And they're coming out, and the funny thing is they're both adult themed stop motion. You don't see any adult themes. You don't even see adult themed animation period nowadays. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, at least not that much in the U.S.
No,
I feel like if it is adult, it's really adult.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to see. My hope for the future of animation is to see more sophisticated, adult-geared animated projects
Sure.
that don't necessarily need to be super raunchy to
Right.
prove that they're adult.
They can be highbrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I love super lowbrow stuff too.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and laugh my ass off.
Well,
but,
Anomalisa is going to be definitely. I heard it's really beautiful.
yeah, I think Anomalisa is
Yeah.
probably in that camp.
I hope it wins an award or something. Because from what I was experienced when I was on it, I was only on there for a week and a half, and then I left and went and worked for Disney for like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was on there, it was just beautiful. All the designs and sculpts that they were doing, the clothing and stuff. I know they ran into some problems with, and that's something to talk about with them later on when they come on the podcast. But if they come on the podcast, but the main thing is that they really, I think they hit it out of the park with the design overall.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I've seen some footage from it, and it looks incredible. It looks, having been in stop motion for as long as I have, it's rare that I see something and say, how did they do that? But
Right.
there are some technical things in Anomalisa that I've seen that
Exactly. So they were that whole Anomalisa thing. They sculpted those things, 3D scanned them, brought them out as CG models, and then 3D printed the faces.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they actually had models, like human models, that looked just like those sculpts, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, Hellenbach 3D printed their puppet designs, and then spit those out.
Right.
And their puppet designs are brilliant as well. You look at those,
totally different look.
Totally different look, and it's kind of interesting to see the technology just allow you to do all this great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know, I haven't seen any animation from Anomalisa yet, but having worked on Hellenbach in the post productions process, the animation on there was just gorgeous. There was so much fun stuff going on. There's one scene where Hilary Lyle animated water out of sand, and then we were using that to brush up against the underwater device. So I can't say any more than that, of course, because it's still NDA until it's released. But it was gorgeous.
That's great.
It was really gorgeous. So
yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can experiment and find a way to use unusual materials in stop motion, it's great. I mean, that's the strength of it. It's not just pixels.
I'm excited about your project though, because
thank
you know, if you're going to be doing a mix between live action and stop motion, that's great, because you don't see that, and you want to see more of that,
Yeah, and I really want to do a character-driven mix between the two. Create something that's fantastical and has creatures, but also tells a story that hopefully resonates and pulls a little live action, a little stop motion, little 2D, little matte paintings. Try to make something that aesthetically hasn't really been done in quite that way before.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
That's great. Well, dude, it's fun having you on here.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great talking with you.
So, what's the name of the project again?
It's Steel Cut Oats.
Steel Cut Oats, and then I guess we'll put a link on the podcast so you guys can find it, and then also probably we'll have an article about your production as well. So
Sounds
for sure,
great.
so check the Stop Motion Magazine website.
I look forward to reading it, and I'll send you photos of me getting my ass kicked by
I'll put it on a t-shirt
by a boxer
for you
down the line.
We'll put it on a t-shirt, right?
All right.
That's
Sounds
awesome.
like a plan.
Awesome, dude. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Cool.